Hello friends, my name is Christine and I own Tintin's Handmade, formerly known as Elcrete Crafts. As you guys may have already noticed on my YouTube, it's no longer Elcrete Crafts. I officially rebranded to Tintin's Handmade, and you can also check my other social media, my TikTok, Instagram, my threads, and Facebook. I'm not too sure about the Facebook one. I'm not super active on my Facebook page, but they should all be Tintin's Handmade now. So this was an interesting transition because when I was Elcrete Crafts, most of my items were not labeled as Elcrete Crafts, and that's for a strategic reasons. I knew that Elcrete Crafts was not going to be there for a long time. It was something that I just needed to have as a stepping stone until I find something that I very much resonate with, and so I didn't brand any of my items with Elcrete Crafts. Preparing for my third crafts market, which just happened last week actually. This is post May 9 crafters market, this video if you're seeing this now. My existing bookmarks, wristlets, and pouches are not branded, but they do have the Handmade label on them, which is convenient because Handmade is in the rebranded name, Tintin's Handmade. So it's good that I could still keep my existing items. So I'm really happy about that. Along with my rebranding, I have also restructured the idea behind my new brand name, and it is centered around book reading. I love to get lost in the sauce inside a book. And if you're curious, my favorite genres to read are suspense, thriller, horror stories, novels, and romance. I think that with my current items right now, it does help me rebrand into book reading because first, I already have bookmarks, and a new addition to the bookmarks are my corner bookmarks. I'm gonna bring some over to show you guys. I'll be right back. So this is my full-size fabric bookmarks. This is just one of them. I have more that I sell on markets as well as on my Etsy. If you guys want to check it out, I'll link it down below. And inside there is a fusible interface for structure. So it doesn't just, it's not too flimsy. Like it actually holds its shape. So it would look like this, essentially. This one here is the full-size bookmark. Just like that. And as I mentioned, I have a new addition to my bookmark collection, and they are my corner bookmarks. I don't have them on my Etsy. I did start selling them exclusive to my crafters market. This is what they look like. Ta-da! And just like my full-size bookmarks, I also have fusible interfacing inside the fabric to hold its shape. So the only thing with my corner bookmarks is that they are thicker than my full-size, as you can see. So I recommend putting in multiple pages inside just to keep it more stable when holding a page, because if it's just the one page, it will weigh it down depending on what kind of paper material you have in your book, but it would just essentially look like this, which is not a deal breaker to a lot of people. It still holds the page where you left off, just like that. And this is my smaller book, as you can see. This corner bookmark here is a medium size. I love this book. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. If you guys haven't read it, I recommend you reading this. It's pretty interesting. This is what it looks like. So this is the smallest size of corner bookmark I have. And this is, again, the medium size, same size as this one. And I also have a large size bookmark. So if I put it like this side by side, you can tell the size difference. The small and the medium doesn't have that big of a difference. Just really depends on which size you prefer, how big or small your book is. So I'll show you. This is what the larger one looks like. Also has an interfacing. I decided not to put any Handmade label on my bookmarks because they're already smaller than the other ones I have. I don't want it to be too bulky, and again, they're already bulky enough, so I opted out putting my Handmade label on. So yeah, they are my new addition to my bookmarks collection. I have book sleeves. These are the spring summer collection. They're so delicate and so pretty. I just love looking at them. My color palette is pretty much this and neutrals. This kind of neutral. If you like this theme, that's me. Ta-da! I have pockets for all of my bookmarks so that you can put pens or whatever you want to bring with you for reading. Glasses, I suppose. And instead of a zipper, I decided to do a snap fasteners instead, so it's easy access, just like this is what the inside looks like. It's just plain, solid white insert. Most of my book sleeves and inserts in general are just white because I want it to stay consistent with the aesthetic of uniformity, as well as the lightness of the color, cloud feel to it, if you guys know what I mean. Like, you know, it gives you marshmallow vibes. I know it seems like they look small, but they can fit a standard size Kindle. Even if you have a casing, given that it's not a bulky casing, it would still fit in this. The small one would. This would fit. That's what it would look like. And then you just close. And another thing that I really like about this option of just doing a snap fastener instead of a zipper is because it gives you this like kind of peek inside, and it also kind of resembles a ribbon on top. It looks really cute. So this is the reason why I like to use snap fasteners. It's just more convenient, it's more practical, right? I can sell my book sleeves at a reasonably affordable price because snap fasteners are more cost efficient for me. I sold these $25 at market, whereas if I had the zipper, I think I'd have to sell them for way more, probably $28 to $30, depending on the type of zipper I would use. And that's the reason why crafters out there and vendors sell their stuff for a really expensive price. And I understand they are worth the price, but it may not be affordable for the average person, right? And I want my things to be as affordable as possible and as reasonably priced as possible. Alright, so I found my iPad. I think this is a little bigger, slightly bigger than a regular size Kindle. Looks like so. It would even fit in the pocket, to be honest. Let's see. Just like that. So obviously it would fit inside as well. But mind you, this doesn't have the case, but you can see even with the case, there's still enough room for it to fit. So it would just look like this. So my sleeves are either for smaller size books or for Kindle readers. Another item in my shop that would be relevant to book reading are coasters. I have a lot of coasters. I made sure to make a lot for my crafters market on May 9th because they did sell fast on my second market. I'm not sure why. People really liked it, and so based on that data, I just made more just in case. And you might ask, well, Christine, how does coasters relate to book reading? Well, let me tell you. La 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 la. When I'm reading, I want my reading session to be as cozy, as comfy as possible. So, what not a better way than to read while having a nice drink beside you? And when you have a drink and you have a nice set of table, I'm sure it's inconvenient to put hot drinks and leave stain marks on their nice piece of furniture table. Trust me, it's happened to me. I'm a gamer. On my table when I'm gaming, I like to have my drinks on the side with me, and I've left marks on my wooden table for gaming, and it's not aesthetic and it's damaging. Sometimes it can be irreversible if you can't fix it up. So hence why I have my coasters. But I do want to point out, these are a newer version of my coasters. I initially had, I guess I'll pop it up somewhere. It's on my Etsy. It's still on my Etsy for people who prefer that version of my coasters. They're more puffier and slightly smaller, but this isn't as thick. The reason for that is because I only use one layer of batting for the newer version. A lot of people like the feel of a thicker batting, and I understand they're more aesthetically pleasing and they're nicer to the touch. But in reality, function-wise, this version is actually more recommended, and that is because thanks to my customers and their feedback, they mentioned that the puffier version, they can't use it for all of their drinks. It has the potential to tip, especially if they have a rounded edge type of cup, so it's just not as stable. The reason why I made these versions, I think they hold more. They still have the batting to protect your table. Whatever type of drink cups you have, this will hold it just as nice without having to worry about your drinks tipping over as opposed to the thick ones. But like I said, I'll still have it available on my Etsy for those who want it. I think down the road, I'll slowly take it off of the website and just replace it with these ones, because I think functional and practicality, this is just more long lasting. But let me show you the different patterns I have for my coasters. As simple as these coasters look, they actually require a little bit more time for me to hand make, because for this version I actually have to hand sew an invisible stitch line, like manually have to like stitch it myself, and it's not hard to do. It just takes a little bit more time. The reason for that is I like the clean look of the coasters this way. For market pricing, one is $5. If you buy two, which what most people would do, it's discounted. They can buy it for $8. Some of you guys might argue like, what? That is so cheap. Why are you selling your stuff for cheap? I'm a nobody. I just rebranded. Nobody's gonna know me at all. I have no reason to price my things too high, even if, yes, they are handmade and I do that direct labor. I need to have some kind of a competitive edge to it, and the way for me to do that is to price my items as low as I can afford. And so that's why I'm doing this. I want to attract people by my aesthetics and by my craftsmanship, the skills, and I want them to feel that I am also affordable. For my gingham lovers, I also have brown gingham, I have a yellow gingham, and I have a turquoise version. So this is nice to have when you have hot drinks while you're reading, to protect your tables, because tables, furnitures are expensive. Reading books aren't just for physical book readers. I want my small business to be just as inclusive to audiobook readers. And how I do that is to offer them AirPod pouches for their AirPod cases. So this is specifically for audio readers out there that like to carry their AirPod cases around while they're listening to the book. And it's also attachable to my keychain wristlets, just like so. This is not included, by the way. This is my makeshift keychain that I just like to add when I'm taking product photos so that people can visualize what it would look like if you have keychains with you. So this is what it would look like. Ta-da. Aren't they cute? They're so heckin' cute. And unfortunately, this size only fits your standard AirPod Pro size. I've had customers in my markets bring their AirPod cases with them and try to fit. Some fit, some did not, unfortunately. Some cases are too bulky. In the future, I'll try to make a larger size. But for now, this is the only size I have, specifically for my audiobook readers. Ta-da! And latest addition to my collection are my travel pouches. So at the market, I sold one pouch. I think it was the yellow one. I had the pink version and the yellow version. I have the printed version as well, but I didn't put them in my crafters market just because I had limited fabric for my prints, whereas with this one, I did have more. I decided to make it into travel pouches. The reason why I made my pouches this way, there are a lot of different pouches on Etsy, and I did my research and I tried to find something that is as practical as possible. I specifically call these travel pouches because the purpose is to have them fit in your bags or luggages and be squished like that, right? You want them to fit. You want them to be as portable as possible. So if I have something like little kits of makeup that are not necessarily bulky, this pouch would be perfect because you can easily isolate your little things without them scattering around your bag, but still have it like squished and fit, just like so. Because other pouches have more stability to them, more rigidness and structure inside for aesthetic purposes. At one point, I did want to lean towards making it aesthetically pleasing, but practicality just wins over aesthetic when it comes to traveling for me. Because when I travel, I want things to be as efficient and convenient as possible. As we all know, traveling can be so stressful, especially when it comes to setting up and preparing and planning things in advance. A travel pouch like this just would help me a lot without worrying about it taking so much space in my bag. And I just want to note, I don't have the pull tabs. You can see, you could literally just pull it like this. Just like that. You don't need a pull tab. It's so easily done. And it's not just cost effective for me, but I can make it affordable to my customers because I didn't need to add a lot of things into making the handmade. But yeah, this is what it looks like inside. It's white fabric. And this is where I have my new brand label, Tintins, on my pouches. Ta-da! I can already tell like my sisters would want something like this. It's just so convenient for traveling. You can flatten it just like that. And the way it is material wise, it's fine if it's wrinkly because that's the aesthetic of it. So if you squish them or not squish them, it's fine. And you can puff it out. Ta-da! And that's the yellow version. And very minimalist vibes as well because there's not much going on except for this one. Which I didn't have in my crafters market. I'm keeping this for myself because I really like this fabric. But I should probably make more future markets just for people to have options. These are not necessarily centered on book reading. This is just kind of outside of that. And that's fine, right? Just because I rebranded and I recentered my vision doesn't mean I can't add other accessories, which means in the future I'll probably have other things as well. And that's fine. The majority of my things will be centered to book reading. So that's my rebrand. Let me see if there are any points that I want to talk about. Okay, so why the name Tintin's Handmade? Aside from the name Handmade being timeless, the main reason why I decided on putting Handmade on my business name is because there seems to be a slight confusion online from people who cannot differentiate small business apart. I consider myself a tiny business. I don't make much at all, but because I have the essence of a small business, I sell, I market, and I earn money from it, and I am a small business. Small businesses that claim that they're handmade, I'm sure that you could tell by now, I am truly handmade. I do disclose that I use a hand sewing machine. I don't directly hand sew my things because that would take forever. I do have an equipment. It's a sewing machine, right? I consider myself a hand maker because I use my hands and the tool, aka the sewing machine, to create my handmaids. And you might think, well, duh, where am I getting at? There's a confusion on people using AI and claiming themselves as hand makers. I have my own I have my own opinion about that, but I don't want to. It's not in my best interest to spread hate. I'm not interested in doing that at all. I think all businesses have the equal chance and footing to flourish their work. I guess I just want people to understand that I am a hand maker. I don't use AI. I don't use any AI tools to create my things, and I'm not very well versed in that as well. I guess an example for an AI related business would be AI generated digital art. Small business may be confused with me as a handmaker small business. And the reason why the differentiation is important to me comes down to how I price my items. Again, no hate at all because I don't know their world of things. I don't know their cost to upkeep their business, right? But there is a I guess I just want to keep and promote the genuinity of my small business and for it to not be confused with other category groups. I am handmade. I'm real. I do things by hand with labor and sweat and time. I have my utmost respect for artists out there that take a lot of time creating something so beautiful and it's rooted in their experiences and emotions and their journey in their life. And it's very unique, right? And that's something that AI cannot replicate. They can try to replicate it, but the emotions and the experiences and the individuality, they're not there. And I think that's what makes the businesses special. And we all kind of, I guess, feel the sense of like defeat, I guess, when it comes to AI generated art, possibly plagiarizing other work. It's a whole can of worms to open, and I may not be ready to get there yet, but I know this might be something I'll have to talk about in the future. I feel like I'm naturally being exposed to it the further I grow my small business, and it's such an interesting topic. That's why I rebranded to Tintin's Handmade, so people know that I am 100% handmade. It's starting to get gloomy now, so I think I should end it soon. I do want to touch on one more thing that is associated with my rebranding to Tintin's Handmade. I still do strongly want to advocate for mental health awareness. I think with reading in general will hopefully help a lot of people combat brain rot and overstimulation in their life. So the reason why I want to combat brain rot is because in our generation there seems to be a lack of awareness of the consequences of exposure or extreme usage of smartphone devices such as short-term content and social media. And I believe that combating brain rot through reading helps mental health in this way. Essentially how reading can reverse brain rot is through three main things. Reading restores focus and attention, number one. Number two, it rebuilds neural connections. Actually, make that four things. Three, it encourages deep thinking. And lastly, it reduces digital stress. So I'm gonna link a reference up here somewhere on the video so you can read it for yourself. I did read this from health.com. It's pretty interesting. If you go through the link, it touches a lot about mental health and brain rot, and there's a section where I got my points from. So number one, how does it restore focus and attention? When you think about short form content, it's very fast paced. One reel after the other or one shorts after the other, you just scroll and scroll and scroll, and it's overstimulating. You are bombarded with so much unwanted, unnecessary information, and it just clouds your thought, it clouds your mind, and it causes anxiety and stress. And when you turn off the phone, you have very little mental energy left to function. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to experience this. We all feel this dark cloud kind of hanging over our heads when we're done using our phone, and we're just so unmotivated. No energy to do anything else. There's no time for chores, no time for talking to friends and family because we've exhausted our energy levels. Like we just want to sleep and eat. Not even that. We don't even want to think anymore, right? We just turn on the TV or put something on our phone, like a video in the background, and let that do the thinking for us. We can't think for ourselves anymore because we're too tired to think for ourselves. With reading books, this is very, very interesting. When I got back into reading again, I felt so it felt so freeing in my mind when I was able to focus on one thing, one story. It felt like you know that meme, wow. But it literally, that's what it felt like. It was just kind of like, oh my god, what have I been filling my brain? Like I have so much space in my head now that I am inspired to do other things and to get that sense of achievement. It essentially retrains our brains to concentrate again on one narrative rather than seeking that constant rapid stimulation. And this is why I think book reading is so effective for me. And if you have the time, definitely give it a try and see how it goes, right? You would need to find a book that best fits your interest. Don't read something that's not interesting. It'll just stray you away from reading. So number 2, rebuilding the neural connections. So this is more, I guess, more scientific, but I think it's important for me to mention it as well. Because of the cognitive decline, right, we all kind of experience brain fog after like hours of brain rot. That's what we experience pretty much. We have brain fog, and I tend to dissociate when I'm mentally exhausted. And this isn't just caused by social media usage. It can be caused by work as well. If you're very stressed at work, or you have mountains and mountains of things to do, I happen to dissociate at times to kind of relax my brain. I guess it's a coping mechanism is what my therapist would say. But yeah, no, reading, it helps us engage our deep cognitive functions, like our imagery, our imagination, the way we interpret things, and even just the effectiveness of our memories. It strengthens our mental stamina. So the more we read, it's like a little exercise for our brain. The more we read, the more we are kind of building that muscle memory. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one who's experiencing this, but I do get short attention span on certain things that I'm disinterested in. And I have a selective memory on some things. Like if my friend would tell me, oh, do you remember that, this and that and that? And I'd be like, I don't remember. I don't remember that detail. But they do. And I don't, because my brain, guess, doesn't care to store that memory, that fact. I just want to better my memory. I don't want to grow up and have Alzheimer's at an early age. Anyways, I know there's a lot of factor that contributes to that. But reading is good. Reading is good for your brain muscles. Number 3, it encourages deep thinking. I touched a little bit about this already. Reading fosters critical thinking and imagination by requiring the reader to create scenes, so imagery, empathize with characters, and connects ideas rather than passively consuming content. There you go. And lastly, it reduces digital stress. I need to explain this. This is very much common sense. It basically just says here, replacing screen time with physical books reduces anxiety and cortisol levels and improving brain health. There you go. So this is what I'm about. I love to promote and advocate for mental health through my small business and Tintin's Handmade. So if you align with my core values and you want to support me in doing this, I want us to have a safe space for book lovers and mental health awareness. I'm excited to see where this takes me, and I would love to grow with everyone else in this book reading community. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you've stuck this far, I appreciate you being here. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe and stay happy. Bye!